This is the Rodney Bull Show, bringing you truth about money they never taught you. Now, here's your host, the man himself, Rodney Bull.
G'day, legends, and what's cracking, money stackers? Welcome back to the Rodney Bull Show. Today's guest brings a very different perspective on money, risk, and what it actually takes to protect your future. Gordon Phillips is a veteran currency trader, financial analyst, and what he likes to refer to himself as a financial unplanner, which I like that. Someone who believes that before you even think about building wealth, you need to understand and manage risks that can wipe it out, and that's so important. From market crashes to inflation to legal and geopolitical risks, Gordon spent decades helping families not just grow wealth, but protect it. He's also the author of the book, The Risky Reader, a collection of essays that challenge the way people think about financial systems, governments, and what's really going on beneath the surface. And what stands out about Gordon is this, I reckon. He doesn't start with how to make money. He starts with how to not to lose everything you've already built, which is by far, I believe, the most important thing. So if you want a different lens on wealth, one that focuses on defense, resilience, and long-term survival in uncertain times, this is going to be a very interesting conversation, folks. So let's get into it. Gordon Phillips, welcome to the show, mate.
Yes, sir. That was such a good intro. You left me with nothing left to say.
No, I highly doubt it, mate. Not with your resume. It's a real pleasure to have you on the show today, mate. Really is.
All mine. It's all mine.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, just for the audience to know, we've been having a good little pre-chat conversation before recording here today, which we both just said we probably should have hit the record button much sooner and shared some of it with the audience. So, but anyway, hopefully this isn't the first and last time that I have you on the show.
Oh yeah, well, I'd love to come back.
No chance that we're going to get through everything that I'd like to go through with you today. That's for sure.
Not a chance.
I'm not a hope in hell. Anyway, Gordon, we'll just get into it, mate. If you're ready to get cracking.
Fire away.
Awesome, matey. So most people spend their whole lives trying to build wealth, Gordon, but very few people actually understand how easily it can be lost. What was the moment in your career where you realized that risk management isn't optional, that it's actually is everything?
Yes. That's a great question. I was a professional musician and band leader in Boston for the first 40 years of my life.
Awesome.
Quite successful.
Awesome.
And then the crash of 1987 in America came along. And family and friends lost a ton of money.
Yeah.
And what confused me is they were all working with licensed financial planners, advisors. And I thought, well, why didn't these people protect your portfolio? Like, this would be like buying a car that has no brake pedal. I couldn't understand what had happened. So I loved mathematics. I loved science. And I'd always been good at it. And I started learning how to trade and invest. And I helped them rebuild their portfolios. Awesome. So then the crash of 2000 comes along. And the NASDAQ drops 90% and people get wiped out again.
Yeah.
So I helped some more people. At this point, someone said, will you consult for me? And I looked around over my shoulder. I said, what, me? I'm a consultant? I didn't know I was a consultant. Okay. Well, I guess that's what I am now, right? And that began. And I realized that the key was, why on God's green earth would you work your tail off for 40, 50, 60 years trying to scrape a retirement together in the midst of massive financial mismanagement and inflation, and then give it back to the market in a crash, or give it back to the government in the form of money destruction, inflation, when there's so many things you can do to hedge and protect yourself. In other words, the first step is to fortify and secure what you've got. My phrase for it is create your own economy.
Yeah, become your own bank as such, eh?
There you go. For heck with their economy. Like, create your own castle, your own moat, your own drawbridge, secure your own finances. Then you can have fun with growing money.
Yeah.
The problem is the risk management's not fun. It's painful. It's like having to exercise. People, I want to make money. I want to make money. Yeah. Meanwhile, you've got a big hole where your money's going out the back door in inflation. And the next time the market crashes and your portfolio drops 50, 60, 80%, it takes years to recover. Why on God's earth would you let yourself go through that?
Yeah.
So that was my big wake up That's how I got on this path years ago.
Yep. Nah,
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense, mate. They would have seen a lot of carnage along the way, sadly.
Oh, yeah.
But thankfully for
Yep.
them people that you've managed to help, you've been able to turn their lives around for them.
It's been
So
a
I'm
real
sure
pleasure. It's very
they're
gratifying.
eternally grateful for, I'm sure.
It's gratifying. It sure is gratifying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure, mate, for sure. Um, so you got a bit of a background rundown on yourself there for the audience, mate. So when you look at everyday families today, Gordon, what do you reckon are the biggest risks that are completely underestimating right now?
Well, there's so many. I guess the biggest, most insidious risk, and the one that's least recognized, is inflation. Because in the United States, the dollar has been losing about 6% per year in true loss of purchasing power. That's like holding an ice cube in your hand, it just melts away.
Yeah, that's
So
the
if,
way
if you got 100, what's that?
I was going to say that's the way I refer to it too. It's like a
Yeah,
melting
yeah,
ice
yeah.
cube.
Yeah. Well, my dad used to joke that great minds think alike.
Yeah,
But do you know the rest of the phrase?
nah.
So do idiots. Okay, I had to get that in there. A little humor break, right?
Nice. I'll pay that one.
So you start with $100,000, and next year it'll buy $94,000 of what you could buy today.
Yeah,
And then the following year you're down to 88, and then 82, and by 10 or 12 years you've got half what you started with. How can you possibly retire using a medium of exchange that becomes worth less every year? It's just absolutely insane.
yeah,
Now the immediate risk, the immediate threat to risk is right now the stock market is grossly overvalued in America
yeah,
by every metric you want to measure. And when it goes down, it's going to go down hard.
yeah,
And once again, it'll be all over the headlines. Millions of Americans lose trillions of dollars in their retirement plans. Here we call them 401ks and IRAs. Every
yeah,
country has a name. They're all
yeah,
the same
yeah.
kind of
We call
plan.
ours superannuation over here.
Yeah, yeah. So okay. So if you're a trader and a technical market analyst, you go into your stock chart and you bring up what are called candlesticks.
Yep, yeah, I
And you
know
go
'em.
to
Yep,
yeah, okay, you go to the weekly, the daily, weekly, monthly, and you can see it start to break down. You can see it. The market's telling you what it's about to do.
do.
So
Yep,
you simply move your retirement money off the stock market dance floor. You can move it over into money market funds. Just get out of harm's way. We were
yep,
talking earlier about those giant tractor trailer trains in Australia. You don't
yep.
stand in the middle of the road going, stop. It'll take them a mile to stop.
Yeah, yeah. You'll
You,
be looking
you
like
get off
jam
the
spread out
road.
on the road after they go
Just
across the
just
top of
get
you.
get yeah, just get off the road, right?
Yeah,
So those are the major risks is market risk, inflation risk. And then of course you have asset risk. As you know, the wealthy don't own anything.
yeah,
You
yeah.
say, well,
That's what
yes,
I've
they
been
do.
learning.
No, no, they don't.
They
They don't. If
have control of everything, but they don't own
That's
anything.
right. And then you have none of the liability of ownership.
Yeah,
People can only take things away from you when you own them. So Americans pay off their mortgage and the house is still titled in their name. They're looking at their phone, they make a mistake, they T-bone somebody at an intersection, put them on life support, get sued, forced into foreclosure and bankruptcy, and they lose everything
yeah,
because they own it.
yeah,
So one of the first things I do is get your assets into irrevocable trusts.
yeah.
And then, of course, I skipped over this earlier. To hedge inflation, you go into hard assets. And of course,
Yes.
precious metals are the best, most accessible and fungible form of hard assets. We could
Yeah.
take a
Well,
whole weekend to talk about that, right?
yeah, mate. I'm a big advocate for gold and silver, mate.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, big time.
So, so those are the biggest risks. Yeah,
Yeah. Nah, well said. Well said, Gordon. Well said, mate. There's a lot to be taken away there, people, when you're listening to what Gordon's got to say. It's valuable, valuable information. Really is.
yeah.
Um, move on to this next one, mate. Inflation and market reality. A lot of people rely on traditional investments like super and stocks. Like so I said, ours is superannuation here in Australia. You've got 401ks and IRAs and things,
Yeah.
super stocks and property. How exposed are they really to things like inflation and market downturns?
So I missed was the last part of that? What was the question?
So how exposed are they to
Oh,
really
they're
really
totally
to things
exposed.
like inflation and market
Yeah.
downturns?
They're,
Through them investments like super and stocks and property.
the average American family is 100% exposed.
believe
their
it's the
life
same
is,
here in Australia too. Like we're
yeah,
just like little brother to use. We're just
yeah,
in the walk in lockstep. We're just a couple of years behind, sort of thing. Generally,
100%. These fiat currencies will all fail. They'll all go to zero eventually. The average American family, their whole life is priced in dollars. They buy chewing gum in dollars. They invest in dollars. They pump gasoline in dollars. They tip waitresses, and I mean everything's dollars, dollars, dollars. So whatever the dollar gets, they're going to get.
yeah,
I mean, they're married to the fate of the dollar, and they're marinated in this mindset that that's the norm. It's always been that way. Many families have a very hard time stepping out of that paradigm. You say, you need to buy gold. What? Buy gold? That's crazy. Like, what am I going to do? Bury a lump of gold in the backyard? I say, no, no, no. Bury it in your neighbor's backyard. Just don't tell your neighbor. But
good plan. Good plan.
it's for
Yeah,
real. You have to move into asset classes. Now, it could be antiques. It could be paintings. It could be rare gems, raw land, developed real estate. But the precious metals are the most accessible, the most fungible. There's a lot of concentrated wealth in a small space,
yeah.
easy
Most
to
liquid.
store, easy to hide. You can go to a dealer, sell it to them. They'll write you a check right on the spot.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now my
yeah,
my prep my preference is rare coins
yeah,
because I think these governments are going to play games with letting us own precious metals when the Great Reset comes.
yeah.
So my advice to my clients is to look into rare collectible coins called numismatics.
Numismatics. Yep, yep.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I've looked into them a little bit myself, Gordon.
yeah.
And I understand why you're advising people along them lines. And it's only suggestions for people to look into for themselves. No financial advice here at all. Not
No, no,
definitely
no.
not.
I tell people
Um,
I don't even give myself advice.
no, yeah, don't listen to anything we're saying. That's for sure.
No.
Just a pair of wallies just rabbiting on here.
Yeah,
But
there you go.
you're dead right because you have previously had confiscations in your country
Yeah,
before
yeah.
along the
Oh, yeah.
lines of
Oh, yeah.
precious metals.
Yes, sir. 1933, Franklin
Yep.
Roosevelt made it illegal to own gold,
Pretty wild, hey, when you think about it, eh? But,
and he had no authority under our Constitution to do that. I could give you a whole lecture on that. We don't need to go there.
yeah,
But when the you know what hits the fan, these governments will all act to protect themselves. You have to understand the government is every government is a big multi-celled organism. It's got hundreds of thousands, millions of moving parts, all these people, and it wants to survive.
yeah,
And it'll protect itself first, and then you get whatever's left over, including possibly nothing.
yeah,
You've got to step out of that system and protect yourself. And now's the time to do it because the cracks are all starting to appear in America in the private credit market. It's like being out on a pond skating in the winter, and
yeah,
these little hairline cracks start to appear. That's like God sending you an email, like
yeah,
get down flat, spread out,
yeah,
and get to the nearest shore
yeah.
fast.
Get off the
That's
ice.
that's where we are right now. For
Yeah,
real, that's where we are.
the ice is melting and you're
Yeah,
going to fall through it
yeah, yeah.
for sure, mate, for sure. So, what do you reckon would be what happens if inflation stays high, mate? And where do people get caught out with that?
Well, they're going to lose their, like I said, they're going to lose their life savings. I mean, if you're, let's say you're 30 years old and you write to the government, and they'll send you back a letter. It's called earnings benefit estimate. They'll say, based on your current rate of earnings, if you were to retire right now, we'd send you a check for $1,000 a month, let's say. Now you're going to retire when you're 65. That's 35 years from now. What will those $1,000 buy? Nobody has a
Probably not
clue.
much by then.
It might buy a ham sandwich. Nobody has any idea. It's laughable. It's so sad. A friend of mine said it's like hitting yourself on the head with a hammer because it feels so good when you stop. I mean, that's how it makes you feel sometimes, even thinking about these things. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Here's something to think of. In America, used cars towards the end of their life, 16, 17 years old, it's about to go to the crusher. They're losing about 12% a year in price, right?
Yep.
Well, the dollar's losing 6% a year. So the dollar's losing value only half as fast as a used car.
Yeah.
If that helps to put it in perspective, okay?
Yeah. That's a good way to
So
look at it.
you have to move your money into assets that not only are not being corroded away every year, but actually are gaining in value against fiat money.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
believe it or not, you would think that you could go to an intelligent adult. Some of these people have PhDs and they look at you like you have two heads, like they just don't get it. And that's the challenge, like
Yeah.
finding the one or two or three people out of 100 say, holy mackerel, wow, you just woke me up. What do I do next? I said, oh, that's great. Let's get you signed up and we'll get you on the consulting plan. I'll show you what to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, mate. Yeah, freaking PhDs. I love the way old Robert Kiyosaki refers to PhDs. Reckon poor, hopeless, and desperate.
Yes, yes. And he waves big sheets of $100 bills. Cash is trash. Cash
Yeah,
is trash.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're right. I mean, and it's a funny thing, like where they're taking us to. Like we've been going down the road of digital money for quite some time, and
Right. Oh yeah.
as much as cash is trash, I think it's probably an important thing in some way to keep
Uh,
in circulation and in society
I wrote a
because
book. I wrote a little ebook called "Why New Hampshire Needs to Create Its Own Sovereign Money."
yep,
Because again, for
good
your
stuff.
listeners around the world, I'm in New Hampshire, which is in New England, which is the northeastern part of the United States, just up a couple of hundred miles north of New York City.
Yep.
New Hampshire is a very small state, and my whole point was, you ever heard of these community currencies around the world, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
Ithaca
have, mate.
Hour?
Yep.
Okay, well, why can't a state do that? Why can't
No,
the state of New Hampshire print its own sovereign money, counterfeit proof, put a picture of a former New Hampshire governor on it or something, and let it circulate within the state of New Hampshire as legal tender,
yep.
and maybe have it circulate at a 1 or 2 or 3% discount to the dollar, to the Federal Reserve note. New Hampshire could isolate itself economically from the entire rest of the United States. The United States could go to Hades in a handbasket if the economy implodes, and New Hampshire would be insulated from all of that depredation, from all of that destruction, with no inflation in the state of New Hampshire, if it just put into circulation its own sovereign currency. So I wrote a little ebook. I'll send it to you if you like.
Yeah,
And
that'd be
I
great, mate.
circulated,
That'd be great.
yeah, and I circulated it among some of the legislators in this New Hampshire state legislature. And again, they just look at you like, well, we need Bitcoin. I said, well, what's Bitcoin worth if they turn the lights out?
Yeah,
It's worth zero. I said, well, then we need to back it with gold and silver. Well, what if they pass regulations that you can't have any gold because the bankers want it all to save a crashing economy? I mean, you guys
yeah,
have got to think past that. So I
yeah,
agree with you. Cash is important, but how about taking it a step further and instead of using their cash, which I think they're going to ban eventually in all of these countries, why not
yeah,
create your own cash and have it circulate as a kind of a solidarity currency inside your own economic borders?
yeah.
And they're like, bitty bitty. They just kind of look at you like, say, okay, I give up.
Yeah, I
I don't know
guess
what else to do.
I don't know that, and like you said, hard to try and get across to people, because they have a mindset around money that
Yeah,
how we've all predominantly been
yeah,
educated about it, and more to the point, not educated about it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, totally.
um, well, a great idea, Gordon, really is. I'd just be curious to see how that could work, and in regards to what backing would be behind it, because
Well,
like
I'll tell you, I'll
The
tell you
US
quick.
dollar once upon a time was backed by gold, and then it got taken off the gold standard in 71, and
But
so
that's the red herring. That's the red herring. I used to think that too. Currency doesn't need to be backed by anything. It doesn't
okay,
need to be backed by anything. So in other words, a country, a given country, anybody, anywhere, state, you look at the economy and you say, what's the velocity of transactions? In other words,
yeah,
on a given day, how much money is needed in this economy to satisfy all the transactions that need to take place?
yep,
You
yep,
put that money into circulation. There's no fractional reserve banking. It doesn't have to be backed by anything but the labor and productivity of the people. It's not going to inflate. It's not going to deflate. There's no interest required to pay anything back. It's not borrowed into circulation. It's not lent into circulation. It's spent into circulation.
Yeah.
And there's no inflation. You completely isolate yourself from whatever's happening outside of that environment. Now, I'm not
Okay.
saying that you can't back it by a blend of different types of commodities. If you feel the need to do that, you can. But it's actually mathematically and functionally not necessary.
Okay.
You just need enough to satisfy the requirements of the economy. And you could adjust it quarterly, seasonally, whatever.
Yep. Yeah. No.
But that was the thesis of the book. And it got no rave reviews. Not
No,
yet.
I wonder why, mate. Hey, people, especially the people at the top who are closest to the money printer currently, like things the way that it is.
Yeah, our money and your money and all of these countries that used to be under the British crown, all our money is lent into circulation. If
Yeah.
every single loan in America were paid off, our money supply would cease to exist,
Yeah.
literally. And every dollar that's spent, every dollar that's lent into circulation, there's interest required to pay that money back. That money doesn't exist yet
No.
until more money is manufactured. It's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
And it will
Completely.
eventually fail. It has to fail mathematically. There's no other end that it can ever come to.
No.
And we're getting close to that end now, I do believe.
Yeah, mate. I do too. I do too. I feel like you can feel it just with what's going on in
You
the world.
you can feel
Seems
it.
to
Well
be
said. You can.
seems to be speeding up and just getting crazier and crazier by the day. And yeah,
Yep.
like I look at it in the context, and I say it all the time that to me, fiat currency, there's been so many of them, like 4,800 of them or more throughout human history, and every
Yeah.
last one of them have gone to zero.
Everyone.
Every last one of them. It's just mind bending.
The,
Like how many times can you do the same thing? Like old Einstein said, hey, madness, just madness. And
well, like I was saying earlier, when I homeschooled my kids, two of the things that I taught them were number one, every government in history has failed.
yeah,
Every single government that ever existed eventually failed. And in the end of its life, it oppressed the people and it stole all the money. It looted the treasury on its way out the door.
yeah,
That's the first thing. The second thing is that every fiat currency, every paper currency has gone to zero.
yeah, yeah,
And if you
dead
understand
right.
that, you don't allow history. They say history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. You can see what's coming. You just don't allow you don't stand in the road with a truck coming at you. You get
No,
off the road, you create your own economy. You don't have to do it in a way that's weird or draws attention to yourself or looks anti-government. You can just like I like to say the logo over your office is a smiley face. Everything's happy, everybody loves everybody, but quietly in the background, 95% of your money is not in the banking system. You have
yeah,
just enough money in your bank accounts to pay the bills that come in every 30 days. Use your credit cards, smile at the bank tellers, be friendly, don't be weird, but your wealth is not in that system. It's the
yeah,
same thing with food storage and prepping for the future. You don't tell anyone what you're doing.
yeah.
Like Benjamin Franklin said, three can keep a secret if two are dead.
So sad but
Okay.
true, eh? Us as humans, we don't do very well with the whole keeping secret things.
Yes, sir, we don't. People love to talk. That's their ego. Oh, look what I did. Look what I did. Oh, yeah. I'm so smart. Yeah. And then when if your friends or neighbors are hungry and they know you've got food, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
Shoot them? Go away? I'm not going to feed you?
yeah,
And they come back with 10 more? You have to this is the time now for people to get super smart. It may not be fun thinking this way,
no,
but you got to
no,
get smart.
yeah, not trying to scare people, with this conversation at all, like it not being doomsdayers or anything,
No,
but
no, not at all.
try to live by the motto, like prepare for the worst and hope for the best, eh?
That's right.
And if the worst never happens, well, what have you lost by
Nothing. You're prepared. You're still prepared. Yeah,
you're still prepared, and everything that you've prepared with, you will still be able to utilize. So, yeah,
I
there's
completely agree.
there's just no downside to it. I don't feel in any way,
So
shape, or form.
here we are on opposite sides of the earth from each other,
Yep.
and we think almost alike. Like there's so many of us out there all over the world, where people are waking up all over this planet to these realities, to these understandings.
This doesn't
Yep.
feel like it's quite quick enough to me. Enough people waking up quick enough.
Well,
That's what
it's
we're
only
here
ever
for
going to be
today.
it's only ever going to be 5% of the public.
Yep. Yeah, I've
Throughout
read
human
that.
history, 95% of the public has never gotten involved in their freedoms ever. I don't say that as an indictment. I'm not being negative. It's just history proves that the public gets involved at the last minute when things are so bad that they just panic and revolt.
Yeah.
But the early adopters, the ones who see this coming, you see the tsunami coming in the distance. You don't stand there like, wow, a tsunami. You get the
Probably not a
heck
good idea.
out of there as fast as you can, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
buddy.
that's where
Yeah.
we are now, in my opinion. That's where we are now. And it's not a matter of promoting fear. Look at you. You and I are laughing. We're having fun. We're being good natured about this.
Yeah.
But the reality is still what the reality is.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
have
You
to
can't
face
stick
it.
your head in the sand and just pretend
No,
like it's
you
not
can't.
happening. 'Cause
No, you
this
can't.
tsunami will wipe you out big time.
It will, yes,
Yeah.
it will.
Like I was trying to say just before, the way I look at fiat currencies is, and I could have this wrong, I don't know, but this is just my opinion and view and perception on it. To me, it's a corrupt system,
Mhm.
and because it's a corrupt system, um, it everything it touches, it corrupts, and
Yes,
it touches every facet of our lives. Money
yes, it
does,
does. Yes, it does.
and to every human on every nation on earth,
Yep.
and to me it's just so obvious to what it does, how it works and functions in that way, and it's created the world that we're currently living in, and we just live in a world of phenomenal corruption.
I totally agree.
It's just so
That's
far out of
one.
control, it's not funny. Like
So I have a little story I tell when in the movie The Matrix,
yep,
where Morpheus offers Neo the red pill and the blue pill.
yep,
Well, my joke is he palmed the green pill. Now, you
okay,
take the green pill and you go all the way down Alice's hole, way further down than Alice ever went, to
yep,
the bottom of the money hole. Because at the bottom of everything is money. Big drugs, big pharma, big business, big war, big education, big agriculture, big med, big everything is bottomed on money. And it's all corrupt. It's a stinking mess. It's like I used to say, it's like you look into a can of worms. You're going to go fishing, right? You
yep,
can't tell the end of one worm from the other worm, let alone one worm from another, right? You,
so
you
true,
see
so
my
true.
point? It's just a complete mess,
Yep,
and you've got to step away from it. I, as an individual, can't change it.
no,
But what I can do is be as powerful in myself and as informed in myself, try to live a good, ethical life,
yep,
teach my kids, empower them, help my friends, help my tribe. Could
yep,
be my neighbors, my family, my church, whatever it is. Now, then, beyond that, if I want to get on a soapbox and try to tell the world with a megaphone, well, now you're into politics and
yeah,
activism and all that. And I'm not saying not to do that, but
no,
you've got to start where you can make a difference,
yep.
which is right at the kitchen table with your family, which is why I'm such a staunch advocate of homeschooling.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I was lucky enough to have been able to do that with my kids, mate. But anyway, it's okay. I will undo what the
No,
education
no, you're
system.
doing great. You're filling in all the spaces. You're going to do great. We
Appreciate it,
talked
God.
about that earlier. We talked about that earlier.
Appreciate it. Um, you call yourself a financial unplanner. Why do you
Yeah.
believe protecting wealth should come before trying to grow it, mate?
Well, as I said earlier, I think it's job number one is to protect what you've got. So it's like, do you ever, when I was a kid, we used to put a boat into the water on a trailer, right? And when you want to bring it back out of the water, there's a crank and it's called a come along, right?
Yeah,
And there's a
like a
ratchet
winch.
on the
Yeah,
crank. It goes click, 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 and it just keeps the rope tight. Click, 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 right? That's what you want to do with your wealth. You want to ratchet it right where it is. So it can't drop. Whatever you've got at this point in your life, the value of all of that wealth, whatever it may be, large or small, it can't go down in purchasing power. You lock it in. You can call it hedging, mitigating risk, using trailing stops. There's all kinds of things that you can do. And then you can have fun, say, wow, I got that done. Now let's see if we can grow some money with what's left over. And then you get into trading and investing and speculating and side gigs and hustles, and you can get into rental income, network marketing, starting a home-based business, all kinds of ways to make money remotely, ideally.
There's a million ways
But
to make money, and a billion ways to lose it.
yes. Unfortunately, the billion ways to lose it all come down to one distilled way, which is trusting in experts.
Yeah. Staying in the system.
Trusting experts. Because the experts are licensed by the system to protect the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they,
Sadly,
like a financial plan, you can work with a financial planner who, I like to joke, could escort your portfolio all the way to the bottom of the next crash, smiling and holding your hand all the way down. And then you can't sue him or her
No.
because they followed the best practices of financial planning under their license.
Yeah.
They're immunized by their license.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I never became licensed. There was a comedian in America years ago called Groucho Marx.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard of him. Yep.
And one of his lines was, I would never join a club that would have me as a member. So I say, I would never become licensed by any agency that would have me as a licensee.
Good call. Good call. I like that. That's really well done. Really well done. Gordon, we'll roll into this question here. For the average family listening right now, mate, what are 2 or 3 practical things that they can actually do to protect what they've built so far in the way of wealth?
Okay. All right. Well, the first would be, depending on, of course, their financial status. If they have assets that they own title in their own name, in particular a home, if they're fortunate enough to have paid off a mortgage or they have anything title in their own name, you have to understand that things that you own could be taken away from you through litigation.
Yeah.
So you maybe want to go speak with an attorney. Most attorneys in America will offer you a free half-hour consultation. You can get some questions. Now you can use AI, get a million questions answered. That's the
Yes,
first
that
thing.
would apply to any country, pretty much anywhere around the world, as far as
Yeah.
litigation goes. And
Yeah, maybe not
how
North
them rules
Korea.
work, obviously somewhat different from country to country, but all on the same lines.
No, true. No, I was joking. Maybe not North Korea, but pretty much everywhere else. But the second thing is, and pretty much anybody can do this, is, as I said earlier, get the preponderance, get the majority of your savings out of their corrupt fiat system. Move it into assets that retain their purchasing power, that hold their value against the Australian dollar, the New Zealand, the Canadian, the British pound, the euro, the yen, the US dollar. They're all losing value every year. It's like a race to the bottom.
Oh yeah,
The
our
third,
cost of living,
yeah,
our cost of living's gone through the roof ever since
yeah.
the
The
last
third
4 or
thing
5
gets into
years since
health.
the crazy COVID.
Totally. Like I say, the third thing, this gets into a whole other conversation about health and wellness,
Yeah,
but take responsibility for your health. Educate yourself.
for sure.
I'll be 80 years old in November.
Awesome. Looking
And
mighty fit and healthy there for 80,
well,
Gordon.
I was going to
Well
say,
done. I
knock
hope
on
I'm
wood.
doing that well by the time I get there. I'm currently 50, so.
Well, you look good. You look great. I was going to say knock on wood, but I think this is actually some kind of pressed fiberboard. But anyway, um,
Up here, knock on
yeah, yeah,
wood.
yeah, yeah. But when you learn the mechanisms of action of how the body ages and how to and the natural deterioration, it's just like an old pickup truck's going to wear out, right?
Yeah.
Well, your body is mechanical, it's hydraulic, it's electrical, and all of these systems gradually wear down with age. And there are ways to offset and reverse those mechanisms if you learn how, if you educate yourself. But that's not at the doctor's office. They don't know
No,
because of their training. And I'm not going to sit here and bash doctors. There are a few good ones out there,
yeah,
but
for sure.
mostly they're pill pushers. They just don't know. They're like mechanics for people. They do things to you. Healing comes from the inside out. It's a function of the health of the cell. You got about 30 or 40 trillion of them, and how healthy the cells are is how healthy you are. So you start at the cellular level. What can I do to preserve the health and detoxify myself at the cellular level? Well, get busy, start reading, learn, take care of yourself, get off all those stupid medications and copays. Some people are paying twice in copays what it would cost them for supplements. So you got,
Crazy,
again,
eh?
just reverse your things, open your eyes, just open your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
those are some very important risk things. And then of course,
understand.
preparing I think everybody needs 2 years worth of food, access to water,
Yeah.
the ability to defend yourself if things get really crazy.
The sad part is, how do so many people do that when we have the size of populations that we have in our cities? Gordon, like, how do
Well,
people
that's
do it?
you have to get out of the cities.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cities are going to really fail, in my opinion. Yeah, all across America, I don't know if this is happening in Australia, are what are called intentional communities.
Yep.
You can look that term up. They're popping up all over, where a bunch of people, maybe 5 families or 100 families, go buy a piece of land and they come up with an idea of how they want to live together. They're going to have rules in their little community. And maybe one family's got a carpenter, one's got a plumber, one's got a
Yeah.
homeopath, one's got a naturopath, one's got a music teacher. And it could be RVs, it could be tiny houses, it could be log homes. Everybody's going to be different.
Yeah.
But they're there to become as self-sufficient and resilient as possible. They're still going to have a foot in the system. They're still going to be making money
Yeah.
over the internet and getting paid in dollars and doing all the usual stuff that makes you look normal. But for the most part, like, what the Amish are? Amish
Yeah.
in America?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, they
think
wouldn't
they're
know if the internet went down.
nah,
They wouldn't know if the stock market crashed. It'd just be another day
would not
in their
worry them
life.
in the least.
No. So there's a perfect living example of people who are completely immunized from the worst things that could happen in politics, pandemics, health,
Yeah.
market crashes,
All
dollar
of it.
risk. Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't have to be a religious community to do that. Your
No.
community could be based on a shared philosophy, political philosophy, but that's popping up. The early phases of that are happening all over this country now.
Yeah.
Intentional communities.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard some talk about it here in Australia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think it's a good thing. I really do.
Yeah.
It's
I don't remember the name of it, but there's actually a website. You'd find it on Google that's now where you can sign up, and there's a whole directory of intentional communities.
okay. Yep.
It's becoming that popular. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. We're starting to run up on time, mate. So I'll just rip through another one quickly with you. I don't want to
Sure.
burn up too much of your time, mate. Um, Probably I'll try and combine two questions here together, I think, and you'll see if we can how you go with them, mate. You've talked about litigation and ownership risk. How exposed are people when they own assets in their own name, and what should they be thinking about instead? And where do people get blindsided here?
Well, again, it's a philosophical mind shift. The wealthy don't own anything. We were talking about this before the recording. The wealthy, what the ideal situation to put yourself in is you have 100% use and enjoyment of a given asset. Nobody else gets to use it but you. But you have 0% liability that comes with ownership.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I'm living in a home that's owned by a trust, people could see me out mowing the lawn every day for 30 years. My wife's member of the Garden Society. We're a model couple in town. We're in our 80s. We died tragically in a car accident. Everybody comes to the funeral, says goodbye. The house didn't die. Still sitting there, owned by the same trust. And the next family that gets to move in has already been decided in advance within the trust document. If somebody tries to sue me, I can turn my pants pocket inside out and say, oh, I'm a pauper. I just live here by the good graces of the people who own this home. I mow the lawn, I do some work, pay a small amount of rent. I take good care of the place. Now, people would have they would think, well, that must have been their house. They lived there for 30 years. It was their house. No, it was never their house. So that's a big brain shift for a lot of people. I've got so many stories I could tell you, tragic stories where people lost their primary residence either because of a medical emergency where they couldn't make the mortgage payment, or because of a car accident, or they put someone else in a very severe medical situation and they get turned around and got sued, forced into bankruptcy, lost their home. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to the extent that you can divest yourself of ownership, as crazy as that may sound. Now, when it comes to precious metals, that's a different ballgame. I don't believe in warehousing. I don't believe in anything like that. I think if you can't drop it on your foot, you don't own it.
Yeah. If you don't hold it, you don't own it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, 100%. I agree totally, mate. Totally. Earlier on, before recording, we talked about the possibility of a great financial reset, mate. Without getting too theoretical, what do you reckon that actually means for everyday people on the ground? And what should people be doing to prepare for that?
Well, right now it doesn't really mean anything because life looks perfectly normal. But what's coming in the next, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? We're going to have another Bretton Woods in America,
Yeah.
a completely new financial reset. They're moving as fast as they can towards 100% programmable money.
Yeah, and that's scary, eh? That's
Well,
really
see,
scary.
one
I
thing the
talk to
public
people
does,
about it all the time, and then people look at you like you just, what? What are you on about, mate? Like, sad.
well, one thing the public doesn't know is that all governments lose about 30% a year of the taxes they could otherwise collect that slips through the system. You can call it under the table, the underground economy, the black market, whatever you want to call it. As soon as they go to a 100% digital currency, they will collect every penny of income in real time. The second you get paid, the tax will be deducted from your Fed freedom account or whatever they're going to call it. The other thing is it's permission-based money. They can decide what you can buy, what you cannot buy, how much of something you're allowed to buy, where you're allowed to buy it. They can even introduce negative interest rates and punish you for saving. So if you don't, every day you don't spend it, it becomes worth less and
We've actually
less.
nearly been there, I think, in recent years anyway, like
Yeah,
interest rates have been that
yeah,
close to negative, they might as well be there as it is.
yeah. So if they don't want you going to a protest rally that's 50 miles away, they can shut your electric vehicle off. Or maybe your credit card won't work beyond
Okay.
15 miles from your zip code or your postal code.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are in Australia, but they're similar all over the world.
Yeah,
But
yeah, same thing.
that's what's coming. I recommend everybody watches a video that's just a mind blower. It's called The Great Taking
Yeah.
by
I've seen,
David
yep.
Webb.
Yeah, I've watched it, mate.
It's free. Go to the
Oh,
website, The Great Taking. I've never met Mr. Webb. I've corresponded with him. I'd love to meet him someday. But go to his website. You can watch the video. You can download his book for free.
yeah.
This is what's coming.
Yeah.
And they've been working on it now for 30 years.
Yeah, and
The
it's
big
all written into law, isn't it? It's all been put in
Yes,
place
sir.
to be able to do
Yes,
it.
sir. Yes, sir. They have everything. It's locked and loaded. They're ready to go. All they have to do is pull the trigger when it suits them. And that's why now is the time to quietly, like I said earlier, just slip out of the system.
System.
Don't be obvious about it. Like I used to joke with my kids, if a flock of ducks are flying overhead, you don't want to be the one that's flying upside down with your beak blinking like Rudolph. You want to just be another duck
Duck.
flying overhead, right?
Yeah.
Except you're just a little smarter than the other ducks. You got a few things figured out.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What do you reckon? One hard truth about money and financial security that most people don't want to face, mate, but probably should.
Well, the fact that it's
We'll wrap up
phony.
with this one, I reckon.
All right. It's completely phony. It's imaginary.
Yeah.
So I'll talk from an American. You log into your retirement account. It's called a 401k. And I'll just say, make round numbers. You got $100,000.
Yep.
Really? You do? Yeah,
Yeah.
really? You do? Show, yeah. Oh, really? You do? Show me. What you've got on the screen are some glowing numbers on an LED screen saying 100, comma 000.00. That's what you have. That's an accounting entry at the financial institution.
Yeah.
There's nothing actually there.
Yeah.
It's
What do
just
you
it's a
have that you can hold in your hand?
no, it's a magnetized spot on their hard drive, which can go away in a heartbeat. Matter of fact, with a coronal solar ejection, it could fry all the hard drives, and I hope they're backing them up. But the point is, and they have to be willing to send you your money when you ask for it.
Yeah.
So if a federal or state or local authority steps in and puts a freeze on your account because you're suspected of something you didn't do, or your identity was just stolen, or if there's an ice storm and the satellite dish goes down, if there's a power failure, a brownout,
Yeah.
and you
You
log
know.
in, your passcode doesn't, we're sorry, your passcode doesn't work. Reset your passcode. So reset passcode, not currently available. Servers are down. Check back later. I got $100,000. I don't have any groceries.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Many families only have 3 days worth of groceries in their home.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
our
Some people don't
ancestors,
even have that.
our grandparents and great grandparents would think that most of us are just fools.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't believe how we live, like on the cutting thin edge, assuming that everything will continue to be, it's called the normalcy bias.
Yeah.
Normalcy bias. You believe that things will continue to be the way they've always been because they've always been that way. And then one day you hit a wall and it's too late because everyone's hitting that wall at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. We're only like one or two little events away
Yep.
from falling off the edge,
One
eh? At all
one
times.
writer, one writer, I don't know who it was, said anarchy is just 9 meals away.
Which if you worked out on 3 meals a day, it's only
That's
three
right.
days.
That's a powerful way to think. Anarchy in the most civilized society on earth, the rule of law, the police, normalcy, sorry, 9 meals away, and everyone's out in the street because their kids are crying.
Yeah, people
No one
can't eat,
wants,
eh?
no one wants, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
People can't eat. They just start baying for blood.
And people don't like to think this way. It sounds depressing. It sounds doom and gloom. It's not. It's just
It's
look at
fact.
history. Look at the history of the human race. Look how far back this goes.
Yeah.
It's never been any different.
Yeah, well, the French
Yeah,
Revolution, it was the same, eh? It come about because of inflation and
yeah,
people
yeah.
people couldn't afford food and there wasn't food, so they're out on the street.
And then Marie Antoinette said, let them eat cake. If they don't have bread, let them eat cake. Whoops, off with her head.
Yeah. Probably been all right if there was cake to eat.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
nah, that's awesome. Awesome. Gordon, I could talk to you for hours on end, mate. And
you too, my friend.
there's so much of this that we could get deeper into, and I certainly hope that we can have you back on down the track sometime, mate, and we can dig a bit deeper into this stuff and keep helping educate people as to exactly where we are and what's going on in the system and just how
Yep,
fragile it is, mate, and how much you need to protect yourself and the wealth that you have built so far in your life.
it would be my pleasure. I would love to mention, if I could, the website for my book.
Yeah, mate, I was just about to give you
Oh,
the
okay, all right.
opportunity to plug yourself,
Forgive
mate,
me.
for
Yeah,
sure, for sure.
yeah.
So please, yes, go ahead, mate, and tell the listeners where they can find you and all of your information, mate, please.
Well, thank you, Rodney. The book is at theriskyreader.com.
Yep,
Theriskyreader.com. And right on that page, so you can read some chapters for free. There's that little AI video that you saw that
yep,
summarizes the book. I've gotten some wonderful, it's for sale on Amazon. I've got some wonderful reviews. I'm almost embarrassed to go read them. So I'm very grateful that it's making an impact. As far as the work I do personally, my website is gordonphillips.me. And my last name is two L's. My first name has two O's, gordonphillips.me. And that's where you can read about the work that I do personally with families.
okay.
Yeah.
As opposed to .com.
I got to get one of those hats. That's what I want to know. Just they don't that it's so unique. It doesn't look like an American cowboy hat. It's got a different shape to it. I don't know. I really like it a lot.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, there you go.
it's actually a Thomas Cook breed of hat. This one.
Okay, okay.
And the
Yeah.
old one up in the background there is my old hat that I just recently retired a couple of months ago. It made it to 10 years of age, so it was time to
Yeah.
upgrade to a fresh one. And that's an Akubra, Aussie breed Akubra.
Okay, okay. I want,
Yeah.
there must be a website where I could buy one of those and have it shipped to America.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, yeah. We've actually got a really good store here in the town that I live in, called Titley's.
Okay,
Where they actually sell a lot of American hats in the store as well. So
okay, all right. Well, it looks good on you.
appreciate it, mate. I've been wearing one my whole life.
Well, Rodney, this was a real pleasure. It really was. It's great to meet a fellow traveler,
No,
philosophically, mentally, spiritually speaking.
yeah,
And we can be on opposite sides of the planet and on the same side of humanity.
yeah, for sure, mate. For
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
for sure. Definitely, mate. It's been a real pleasure, and I thank you for sharing all your knowledge and information with me and my audience today. It's been really
Oh, you're
good,
more
mate.
than
The big takeaway for
well.
me in this, I reckon, is building wealth is important, but keeping it is what actually matters long term.
Yeah,
And for me, I'm aiming for legacy, so it's definitely very important to be able to
yeah,
build true wealth and to retain that wealth, mate. So,
yep,
in a world full of uncertainty and volatility, mate, like it's just so important to get yourself educated with the right information to be able to make the
yep,
best choices that you can, for
yep.
sure.
You create your own economy. You got your own castle. You got your own moat, drawbridge.
Yeah,
The moat's full of, I like to joke, either alligators or lawyers. And you're
yeah,
ready for whatever the world throws at you. So
definitely. Yeah, mate. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely love it, mate. So we'll make sure all of Gordon's links are in the show notes below, folks. So
thank you.
look for them there in the show notes, and just keep on stacking, people, and truth, freedom, and legacy all the way.
Thank
on
you,
stacking.
sir.
Excellent.
Take care.
Thanks, Gordon. Catch you later, mate.
This has been another episode of The Rodney Bull Show, a Rebel Edge production. Please share with your family and friends, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review.